Are we on? Are we on? Are we on? Where am I? There I am. Said the bit rate is not good. What is wrong with my bit rate? Why is my bit rate not good? Hang on here. Is my bit rate not good? Been having weird internet problems all weekend. I blame my kids. Well, come on. Let me see here. Na 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 na. Well, come on. Seems okay on my phone. Let me see here. Okay, I'm just gonna assume it's okay. Let me Hola, ¿dónde está la bata? Yeah, whatever, man. I didn't take Spanish. I didn't have to. I take Deutsch. Okay. So it appears to be working. So that's good. I don't know why it's giving me a warning. But yeah, my internet's been weird all weekend. And I rebooted my router, which I hadn't done in a while. So, you'll notice this is different. So what I did here is I'm just using the one camera that I normally use for the desktop. And then when we get ready to look at the desktop, I'll just tilt it down. And we're going to see how that goes. And I took the green screen. The green screen is not down. It's folded up and clipped. But it doesn't reach all the way over here, so it looks really funky. So, neither did I. So I just, we'll just go with the chaotic background for now. So yeah. So hey, welcome to ShutterAce Reloaded Live. I noticed we're starting to see some subscriptions and stuff. So if you don't know where you're at, you may not want to be here. No, I'm kidding. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jim Deck. I do lots of things, but this show's about models. And lots of those things I talk about, we can't talk about. No, I'm kidding. All right, so what's going on? Where shall we start? Oh, let's talk about what do we always talk about? The raffle. The raffle prize. You have until the end of February to get your entry in. The raffle prize is this Trumpeter SA2 guideline. An aircraft missile. What? 2 U-2 shoot downs. Used extensively in Vietnam. I don't know if it's still in use or not. It probably is. But nice kit. 150 something parts. Not too much. Not going to drive you crazy. once in a while I open this thing up just to let you see. You know, that thing's, it's 8 or 9 inches long, the missile itself. It's got the launch pad, the launching platform, the launcher, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, all you got to do, if you know the drill, you know the drill, but I'm going to tell you again. Send a photo of a recently completed build to ShutterAce at ShutterAce.com. Please, one photo, and we'll get you we'll get you entered. Something to be aware of: if you send me a photo, it will get used in a YouTube video when we announce the winner at the beginning of March. So that's the only catch. Other than that, I put it in a box, I send it to you. Pretty good deal. Not a bad deal at all. All right, so there's that. Oh, what's next? The book. Book of the week. Oh, let's see. Book of the week. This week I picked The Black March by Peter Newman. And the reason I picked this was while I was doing other stuff down here this week, it doesn't look like it, but I actually cleaned it up a little bit. I had a bunch of boxes stacked in here. But anyway, so while I was doing that, I was watching, Netflix has a thing called Great Somethings of World War II in Color or something like that. And it had there was an episode, there's an episode of Stalingrad, and there was an episode on the Holocaust, and which got me thinking about this book. So Peter Newman was a German soldier, fought on the Russian front. He was in the Hitler Youth. I mean, he went through the whole program, and I haven't read it in a while. I read this a couple of times because I find it somewhat fascinating, I guess, and it kind of anyway, it's kind of insightful if you don't really understand some of the things that was going on, and like anything that comes out of times like these, you know, there's some people have some questions about some of the things, whether some of it's true or whatnot. You know, I don't know. I tend to trust you until you give me a reason not to. But that's how I see the world. Unless you look like Gandhi. No. No. You're a pimp. You look like Gandhi. So anyway. Yeah. So that, you know, that's a pretty quick read. I don't know when this was published. It's been around a long time. And this is from Bantam, and Bantam, I'm sure, has been gone forever. So this was the 9th printing, and it was printed in 81. The original book was published in 1958 in France. Interesting. So, I don't know really what to say about this other than it's pretty complete. It goes from, like I said, the Hitler Youth, all the way through him going to Stalingrad. You know, being involved in the SS, and being involved in the whatever the program was called, where they had like these clubs where the SS soldiers would go, and they would have the you know, the fine Aryan women or whatever, and they would try and create the master race and things like this, and it's so it's very interesting. And you know, and he even talks about, he makes some comments, um, you know, some things that went on the Eastern Front that were um, interesting. I don't want to say too much. It's worth a read. It's worth a read. So, you know, not a happy book, but an interesting book. Okay. Where are we at? We talked about the raffle. If you're not aware, we have the website, ShutterAce.com. And I post the videos up there, and I post other videos that like older stuff, like I broke the P-61 set up into sections, and that's posting like once a week or twice a week. It posts, I forget what, but and I'll post other things there. I posted an article a week or two ago about what was it about? It was really interesting too, and now I can't even remember what it was about. Anyway, but you know, zinc chromate or olive drab or some specific thing. You know, there'll be different stuff like that. So that's ShutterAce.com if you want to check it out one of these days. There's also the ShutterAce Facebook page, which I'm guessing most of you probably know about. I post photos up there and whatnot. And there's also Monogram Models Clubhouse, which is where all the monogram stuff gets posted, obviously. Right? That makes sense. This all is supposed to make sense, believe it or not. I try and keep it somewhat thoughtful. So anyway, so what the heck have I been working on? I've been working on a lot of stuff this week. What shall we talk about first? How about the 104? Let's do this. Do the camera thing here. I got some other stuff that I'm dealing with here. That's what I've done here is I'm fixing all the goofiness. So since this is going to be a NASA bird, they covered the gun port. So what I did is I did a lot of filling with this, which is nothing more than thick CA, but it's less expensive to buy it this way than it is to buy it. This is 4 ounces. Yeah, 4 ounces. I think I bought this for $12. And it's still mostly full, and the tip hasn't gotten clogged on me at all. So anyway, so I put it all together. I started filling the gaps with the thick CA and sanded that out. I didn't get some areas as well as I thought as far as sanding it all the way out. But then, and I thought I had it pretty good, but I sprayed it with Alclad microfiller primer, the gray primer, and found all kinds of nasty stuff. And what you see here, this thick stuff here is Mr. Surfacer 500. And as you can see, I've started sanding it out here on the intakes and whatnot. So there's going to be a little bit of sanding and filling here for a while. It's a monogram kit, go figure, right? That's totally expected. So, but yeah, it'll be pretty cool when it's done. I don't know when that'll be. I'm not rushing it, but and I don't know how busy I'm going to be being I'm going back to work here this week. So there's that. What else do we got? Oh, I'm going to need room. So you probably remember the P-61. So here's the P-61 dial. So that's all I've done with this week was I actually just painted the sides of it black today. But this is just a piece of expanded foam, just that white. Not the ideal product for this, but it'll work. I'm probably going to have to put some sides on it because it'll get beat up on the sides if I don't. So I'm going to have to put some thin wood siding or something, but it's just that. It's got a layer of spackle on the top, a thin layer of spackle, and then I painted it with some tannish colored house paint that I had laying around, and then I just put this sand or whatever on here, and what it is, I went into my leftover model railroad stuff, and I had this mauve base color. So I put that on there, and some of it you can see is still a little wet. And the plane is glued down. This is holding it up. There's a wire in the nose wheel that's stuck into the foam. I'm hoping that will hold it. If not, I'll tie it through or something. Not really that worried about it. But so here's my dilemma. Not really dilemma, but just what I'm thinking, I guess. So this thing is on a Pacific Island somewhere, Pacific Island airstrip, and typically you're not going to see too much vegetation in an area like this where, you know, it's been cleared with a bulldozer and packed. So I've got a couple of ways to go with this. And I'm thinking of maybe just putting some tall grass or something on here in a couple of places and just leaving it as is. Or doing that and putting a background photo, which means I would have to pick a viewing direction. So I don't know that I necessarily want to do that. I mean, there's more stuff to do. There's I got to put some other stuff around that's somewhat interesting. But I'm not. I'm just kind of playing with it, see where it ends up. I'm not sure. I don't have a real great plan. I'm just kind of going with it. But my thought is that they're not going to may not have a hanger or whatever to work on these things on, but they're not going to tear this motor apart just out here in the open with all this sand. They're going to take it, at least take it to a tent or something and work on it. So I'm probably not going to have a lot of stuff laying around, but I might. We'll see. But so far, there we are. Let me get this out of here. Be careful not to drop it. They'd be like, ah! And that's something I would do. I would drop it in a heartbeat. Okay. Now what? I need a drink of water, that's what. All right. So what did I finish this week? I finished the Tamiya FW190F-8. This is, I'm going to say 8 hours tops. I've actually got, I'm working on a build video of this. I've had to condense about almost 5 hours of video. I've got to condense down about an hour and 40 minutes. I got to condense it down some more, but or speed it up, do some, whatever, put it down to a watchable length. But I'm every once in a while you build something that you're really happy with, and this is something I'm really happy with. I think this came out really, really, really good. It does have a couple of issues, but nothing major. Pretty happy with it. So let me show you what we got here. So one of the issues, let me show you the big issue in my head, is the wheels and tires are not, this one especially is misaligned. So that's a huge problem in my head. But, it is what it is. I can't move it. I tried. So it's just stuck. But this is bone stock out of the box. The only thing I added was tape seat belts. It's even got the stock decals. It's even got the decals out of the box on it. And it really, it went together really, really, really fast. It took time because I'm still I like enamels. I'm still using enamels. Yes, I'm converting, but I'm going to use up what I already have, obviously. And so that was a lot of the time was just waiting for paint to dry, because this thing, there is, did I use filler on this at all? No. So there's a gap there, right here. That, I don't know. Might have needed some filler, but not really. And then that, that wing root there. If you want to get all crazy with it, but I was like, that's not enough to worry about. It looks fine. So, so there's no filler. I painted it with, so this is Model Master RLM65 enamel. And the top is, oh boy, can I remember now? I don't remember now. I wrote it down. Hang on. Let me look for you. It is, I'm going to the ShutterAce Facebook page because I know I listed it there. So you can go there and find out, actually. There's a photo album of the build, and it has the one picture has the colors listed. So let me see here. Not prepared. Okay, so I used FS36118 for the RLM74 and 36231 for the RLM75, and then we got RLM76 on the bottom. Okay, so so we did that, and then sorry, I gotta get my screen back. Then I did a little bit, I did a pen wash in a couple of places, but not everywhere. And I'm kind of getting away from that stuff. I'm finding that I'm kind of coming full circle, and I'm not I'm not really into the pre-shading thing anymore, and I'm not even really into the washes anymore. I'm really kind of treating each build as a subject in an entirety, and not just an exercise in techniques, if that makes sense. I'm trying to treat it as its own complete object, and I'm kind of going for the realism side of things instead of the artistic side of things, if that makes sense. Um, I think there's room for everything, and I think there are things that, like, appreciating works on some things. Um, there are times to use all the different techniques, but I think getting in a habit of always going down this laundry list of techniques that you do on every single build, so they all end up looking the same, is boring, I guess, and I don't think it necessarily gives you a result that is realistic. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, excuse me. So, the whitewash. Let's talk about that. So what I did, this is like a 7-step process. So I painted and decaled the thing as normal. I went through and I painted and decaled it like it wasn't going to be a winter camo job. It was just going to be, another FW190. So I did that. The decals, to me, decals, they're okay. I mean, you can see some film, but they really did pretty well. The fuselage band is actually the decal off the sheet, and that came out really, really, really good. Amazingly enough, I just wanted to see if I could do it, if it would work, and it worked really well. So anyway, paint it and decal it. In this instance, since I used enamel paints, I used an enamel gloss. That being Alclad 309, I think, or 310. The enamel gloss, not the aqua gloss. And that stuff always goes on fine. I mean, it always goes on perfectly fine. It took a couple of days to dry. Again, this took me like 9 days to do because I'm waiting for paint to dry, and when it's cold like it is in the winter, it takes days for enamel to cure. I shouldn't say dry. I should say cure. So, if you're not familiar with the difference between drying and curing, drying is when it flashes off and you can touch it, and curing is when it's completely done off gassing. And that's two different things. So anyway, gloss clear coat. Then I used acrylic white over because I didn't want it reacting with the enamel, and I just used Tamiya XF2, and I airbrushed it, and I did some squiggles, and so and I just kind of did whatever, not really, no plan, and some squiggles, some patches, did that, let that dry. Then I came back with a makeup sponge. Do I got one of those laying around here? No. Anyway, a makeup sponge is like you get in the makeup section, right? Oh, let me grab one. Did I throw them all away? See, I was cleaning up and I probably tossed them all. Anyway, I get these. Oh, here they are. I buy the round ones and these triangular ones. I use these triangular ones more than anything. But and then I just use this like a sanding pad, and I just rub the paint out with this. I do this quite regularly on the finish coat, on sometimes on the primer. I use these for other things too, but these are great to smooth paint out. So I got the XF2 down, I rubbed it out with this. Then I came back with an earbud or cotton swab or, you know, whatever you want to call it. Dipped this in alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and just cleaned certain areas, cleaned the insignia off, you know, just kind of added some wear. Once that was done, I came back with black, gray, and white pastel chalks and my really fluffy brush. And you may have seen me use pastels before. I use pastels a lot. I like them. I think they're really effective. The only thing you have to be aware of is you have to overdo it. Because once you put a clear coat on it, it's a lot of it's just going to disappear. So, but in my head, they're worth taking the time to learn to use. You can do some really interesting, subtle stuff with them, and it works. That's what works for me. So the exhaust on the sides, that's Tamiya smoke and pastels. So it's a base with Tamiya smoke, and then I shade it with pastels. A lot of this white and gray and whatnot up in here is all blended with pastels. The gun blast stuff is pastels. And once I got those on there, then I did put my flat clear. I used was it XF82, the Tamiya flat clear, and that was it. Like I said, I'm really happy with it. It came out really good. That wheel being out of alignment kind of sucks, but other than that, I think it looks really nice. It's there was some question as to whether there's a yellow, the lower panel here on the cowling should have been yellow. I couldn't, I don't know. The pictures I looked at, I didn't see it. I didn't see the yellow, and which was fine because I didn't have to mask it and paint it. So if it's there, it's there. Sorry. But yeah, so, and yeah, there's no antenna. I don't typically put antennas on mine because, I don't know, they just, in the past, there's been issues with them getting snagged on things and whatnot, so I just don't do it as a rule. I will, you know, if there's a need, if it's something, if I'm going to a show or something, sure, I'll put an antenna on it, but I typically don't. So yeah, there we go. There's the 190. I think it came out good. I like it. It's nice. Okay, bring the camera back up here. So there we go. So that's really it right now. I'm kicking around what's next. I'm thinking of starting some armor. Last week I think I mentioned the T-55. What did I have? I had the Leopard 1, Leopard 104, T-55, T-62, and the SEM-60, the Israeli M60. Anyway, so I'm still kind of kicking that around. I don't know what my schedule's going to be like. I know that I have training Tuesday through Friday, and then I have to go up to the big city and do training for like 5 days. And I know one of those days is Saturday. And then I have like OJT after that. It's the first week of March. And from what I've been told, depending on what goes on, I could be not very busy at all, only working a couple of days a week. Or it could be absolutely crazy and I could never be home. It just depends on what happens. So, yeah, we'll see. So I don't know how much, I don't know how prolific I'm going to be. So far this year, I've gotten a lot done, and considering it's only the second month of the year, and last year I finished 9 kits, which was like more than I've done in 10 years, and in a 12-month period. And now I'm looking at, I've already got 3 done. 3 or 4? 3, right? Let me think. Stuka, P-61, FW190. I think 3. And yeah, so I guess that's it. We'll go from there. All right. Well, I think we're going to check us out on the web, Facebook, ShutterAce page, Monogram Models Clubhouse, ShutterAce.com. Send us that entry so that you can win this cool missile kit, whatever I did with it down there. And we'll go from there. I got to pick the book for next week and whatnot. Sound good? All right. As usual, take care of the people you love, and we'll see you next time.